Alright, so in the last video, we studied projections and shells. So just note that making a projection is very easy. I can go into any view and I can go to create planar map. There's my projection. And this thing I did not show you. What this thing does, if I click and drag down or up, you're going to find that in the UV texture editor space, all this is doing is a glorified scale. Okay? You can see as if I get small, all this is doing is making this really big. It's important to note that professionally we stay within this box. Okay? So if it lives in the box, it's good to go. It's good to port in any other program, but we don't go outside this little area right here. Well, the complexity starts when you get a shape that is somewhat complex. And let's see, I'm just going to add some to this character. We're going to make a 2-second body. And a 2-second couple arms here. Okay, so there we go. Now, what happened? Well, the shape doesn't match anymore. So that's step one. Does the shape match? No. Well, what happens? I can go in here and say maybe project a camera. And project it. Well, now it represents a shape. But what happens? Well, there's distortion. Even if I took the shell, let's take the shell and cut it. Using the cut command here. And then take a UV using the UV shell tool and clicking off the drag. The second rule, besides like staying in the square, is we can't have any overlapping UVs. And clearly, you know, these UVs, these faces right here, if I click on that, you see that they're not here very much. You know what I mean? Because what happens is they're not represented at all. If they are, they're laying flat here, and I could never put any texture in it. See, just like this. I can't put any texture in this area because there's nowhere to put the texture at. So, this leads to the second most useful tool here. And that is the unfold command. So what I'm going to do is double click the line here. And we're going to say unfold UVs. And they're like, wow, that was horrible. Okay, well, there's a reason for that. And let me show you that reason. Notice when I do this, both of them squishes down. Okay, so in order to counteract this, if I go to the unfold command and say pin unselected UVs, let's close that out. Let's go to UVs, then unfold. Okay, notice something. One got bloated out, the other one got introverted in. Well, that's a very easy explanation for this. This is the positive and this is the negative shell. Okay. Undo. To counteract that, what I usually do is take this shell and I flip it. And then if I unfold it, grabbing first the edge, then 2UV, I can unfold it. And now this time it bloated out. Well, here's the problem. There's a lot of problems here, you know what I mean? Because it's like problem after problem after problem. So the problem now occurs is it's unfolded, but these are still stacked up on top of each other. So I have to go in to each and every UV and W on the keyboard to move it. Now they're not overlapping. But I still got areas of overlapping. And I'd have to sit here all day long and try to move and manipulate these so they don't overlap. And also, so they're uniformed. So that's very important to keep uniformity within your texture. In other words, this one is now sort of a square. This one is nothing sort of that. So in this area, I would have a hard time trying to get texture in here. So in the next video, I'm going to introduce you to a program, and I'm going to get you used to using that program, and it's called Blender. It will save you decades, absolutely decades, doing UVs. The reason I don't use Maya is because it doesn't automatically unfold the item like Blender does. So in the next video, we're going to be looking at Blender. And Blender is free, of course, so everybody can download Blender and play along. Alright, meet me in the next video.